Our moderator tonight is Tim Bryant, the morning talk show host on WGAU in Athens. And I will now turn the floor over to him.
I see a gathering like this. It's about the size of the Sunday school class I occasionally teach in Athens. And I told them this story. They seem to like it. I hope that you will. It is the story of a minister new to town who's making the rounds, visiting his parishioners, knocking on doors. He knocks on one door and nobody answers. He kind of gets the sense that somebody's there. He thinks he hears some movement, but nobody answers the door. So his custom when that happens is to leave a business card. To leave one of his cards in the door, and further, to scribble a little note on the card, a Bible verse. The Bible verse that he selected was Revelation chapter 3, verse 20. Who knows that?
Behold, I stand at the door.
Behold, I stand at the door and knock. Well, the next day, he goes to his office and he finds a business card in his door. It is from the home he had visited the previous day, with a Bible verse scribbled on it. Genesis 3, verse 10. The man's laughing already. I heard you in the garden and I was afraid because I was naked, so I did. Thank you all for coming tonight. I'm always encouraged by the turnout we get in Oglethorpe County. It's always encouraging to see people interested in their communities. The format here is really simple. We will start, and each of the candidates will give a 2-minute opening statement, after which the questions, which you folks pose tonight, I'll read the questions. The candidates will get basically 1 minute to answer. And at the end of that, with each of these respective races, we'll have 1 minute for a closing statement. Do we have a timekeeper?
I think I'm figuring it out.
Okay. What we'll do, and I'm going to watch it too, we're not going to be hard and fast on it, but when we start to give you the signal, start to wrap it up. And if I have to step in, I will, but we're not going to be overly attentive to that. We'll begin with our magistrate judge, the incumbent Gail Smith, and her challenger, Deborah Potts. 2 minutes or so with an opening statement. Deborah Potts, we'll start with you.
Hi, my name is Deborah Potts. This month has been our anniversary. We've been here 14 years. My father-in-law has owned the property a whole lot longer. I have put 2 kids through the Oglethorpe County High School. We're working on our third, a 15-year-old son. He's in the 9th grade, going on to 10th grade. And 15 and driving us crazy about wanting to drive everywhere. I graduated from Athens Tech with an associate degree in 1992 and have since been working with attorneys for about 20 years now. The current attorneys I work with, we deal a lot in bankruptcies, criminal law, and the associate attorney deals with civil law. I'm in court constantly with my attorney, Scott Talbert. They're both attorneys are municipal court judges, and every now and then I get to go with them and see behind the bench. But most of the time I work with Scott Talbert and going to criminal court, helping him out on the cases, getting cases wrapped up, getting clients to the front. My goal, should I be elected, is to make it a fair, open, and honest office, to make sure things are done fairly, to make sure clients are heard and attorneys both are heard and give an unbiased ruling or decision on their case. Right now, like I said, I work in Jefferson with the 2 attorneys. Should I win the election, I will quit working for them because this job is a full-time job. Thank you.
Thank you. Gail Smith.
Okay. I'm Gail Smith, and I'm your Chief Magistrate Judge. I want to first thank Kathy Ware, the Republican Party, for how generous they have been during this election season and the welcome that they have given me, and I appreciate that. I'll tell you a little bit about my background. Attended Truett McConnell. I also have 600 hours at the University of Georgia School of Law, ICJE. I'm certified by the National Judicial College. I'm also certified by the Department of Justice and Judicial Security. I'm also certified in advanced, basic, and domestic mediation. I also have 6 different certifications in emergency management. I want to tell you a little bit about my affiliations. I'm a member of the Oglethorpe County Chamber of Commerce, a member of the Oglethorpe County Farm Bureau, the Georgia Magistrate Court Council, the Oglethorpe County School System. I am on their truancy panel. I am also a member of the Child Fatality and Child Abuse Committee. I was honored to serve as that chairperson for 22 years. I want you to know that it's truly been a blessing that y'all have allowed me for 30 years to serve as your magistrate judge. I have been the chief for 25. I worked in the court for 5 under the chief magistrate, Judge Harold McFarland. I don't know, some of you are old enough to remember him. But it has truly been an honor, and I feel like you have blessed me each and every day. I treat everyone fairly. I treat everyone respectfully. If you've ever had to use my court, you know that. Thank you.
Thank you. By way of again explaining just a bit about the formatics here, looking at the schedule, we've allotted about 25 minutes for this segment, so I'll go through as many of these questions as we can in the allotted time, and we'll wrap up this portion, move on to the next set of candidates at around 6:45 or so. So the questions, and again, as provided, we'll start with the question that comes from the party. That's a good place to start. The Oglethorpe County Republican Party submitting this question to the both of you. Judge Smith, we'll start with you. If elected, explain one aspect of Oglethorpe County that you plan to work toward improving.
I'm always concerned about what goes on in the school system. It's really important to me. I believe that a child's mind is a very terrible thing to lose. We have so many kids in our school system that need a mentor. They need for us to step forward, y'all. It doesn't have to be court-related. We all need as citizens to be there and help these kids. We were fortunate to grow up, most of us, in a stable household. A lot of these kids are not. I see a great need when I'm at the school for us to step forward and to help these kids. So I would like for us to start some type of program where people are willing to step forward and mentor. I think that would keep kids out of my court.
I agree with Judge Smith, 100%. I've put 2 girls through schooling. We're working on our 3rd son. I see or hear from him every day the situations going on at school, the problems, the issues. So I agree with Judge Smith 100%. The kids need to come first to make it a better community.
A note from me, this is not going to be much fun if you folks spend the night agreeing with each other. Gail Smith, this is to Gail Smith, but never mind, you get a chance to answer as well. Will you provide communications from the Judicial Qualifications Committee from your office?
Now say the question again.
Will you provide communications from the Judicial Qualifications Committee from your office?
The only time you would ever respond from an office is if there was an inquiry. And if it was, then sure I would.
Deborah Potts.
Yes, I would, 100%.
Interesting question. We'll start with Deborah Potts. Have either of you ever been charged with theft, theft accounts, deposit accounts fraud, or domestic violence?
No. And I do not have a criminal history. Went and pulled one. I have it right here for anyone that would like to see. I have no criminal history.
No, I've never been charged.
Never charged. Gail Smith, do the people, the staff in your office, have separate duties they perform relative to the county?
Absolutely. I want to take just a minute and tell you a little bit of history about the magistrate court. I see Brenda Cobian here, and she were a Judge J.P. Way back in the 1980s, the court was the justice of the peace system. It changed to a small claims court in 1983. 1985 is when it went to magistrate courts. In that time, Judge Harold McFarland was the very first chief magistrate judge. I was the associate magistrate judge. We had one clerk, and we had a constable. Today, 31 years later, the same 4 positions exist in the Oglethorpe County Magistrate Court. Nothing has been added, nothing has been changed. We all have specific duties. I'm responsible totally for the whole office and make sure everybody gets everything done. The clerk, she does all the accounting, receiving, filing the paperwork. She does the balancing at the end of the day. She deposits the money. The associate magistrate judge is assigned to the sheriff's office. She writes the warrants for the sheriff's office. She logs all the cases in the computer. She validates for the sheriff's office. And me and her both are on call 24/7. At 2:17 the other morning, I was in my office with the GBI writing a search warrant. So you never know when one of us is going to be at the sheriff's office or our office in the middle of the night. We're on call 24/7. So yeah, we all have specific duties that all of us do.
Would you like to respond in any way?
Well, yeah, I mean, you will have to have people that do have specific jobs in that office because one person can't do everything in that office.
Ms. Potts, and we'll ask the same question of you, Gail Smith. What caused you to decide to run for this job?
I've been working with attorneys for 20 years now. I've seen the other side of the bench working with criminals. This is just a step up on something I would like to do. I know I have the experience. Yes, I would have to go to school to learn more, but this is something I would like to further in my life.
Gail Smith, why do you want another term?
I am passionate about helping people. Y'all, good people make mistakes. Not everybody that comes in my office is there because they purposely done something. Good people make mistakes. Good people have trouble in their lives. People that come in my office that may have got sued might have had cancer. They might have had a tragic accident. Something has happened that they've had to come. Bad people don't come. I want to help everybody that comes to my court because I know good people have trouble. So I want to continue providing that service.
Okay, again, for both of you here, and this gives you a chance to elaborate on the answer you just gave. Can each candidate describe her level of education in detail, including the type of degree, bachelor's, associate's, or such, where you earned it, how it will help in the position if elected or re-elected? Yes.
I graduated from Athens Tech 1992 with an associate degree in paralegal studies. And that lets me specifically work with attorneys. I had to learn the law when I was going to school. So knowing the law and also, I don't know all of it, but knowing what I know and working with the attorneys all the years I have gives me a greater experience.
Okay? I do not have a degree. I attended Drupal and did not finish. But I have 600 hours of training from the University of Georgia School of Law. And I have went through numerous classes. In fact, the whole garnishment law has changed. The governor signed it into law and it has changed. I spent 1 hour on the computer doing a webinar at the university finding out how to apply the new garnishment law. I've got the experience, and experience is very valuable.
Start with you here, Gail Smith, and Deborah Potts get a chance to elaborate from her perspective. You have the job. What are the chief responsibilities of this job? What does this job look like when you're doing it?
You have a responsibility of every part and every facet. I'm the only person in that office that can do absolutely everything. I have to make sure that if they're on vacation, I step up to the front window. I take care of the customers coming in. I make sure that everything is covered 24/7. And it is a lot of responsibility.
Ms. Potts?
No, I've never done the job, so I wouldn't be able to elaborate on that.
All right, here's one that is directed at you, but will also give Gail Smith a chance to respond. What specific types of information do you think have been released from the magistrate court without an open records request? There's a premise in that question implicit is that something has been. What type of information do you think has been?
Information about cases, specific information about cases, information on return checks, information on lawsuits, information on where a person was being sued. An insurance company was called 30 minutes after he walked out of the office. Just specific information that somebody would have to request in open records, and knowing good and well that an open records request was never requested on that particular subject. Too much information has got specific information, check amounts, check numbers, dates of checks, dates of phone calls, who it was, times, just very, very specific information, too much information for it to be just one open records request.
Gail Smith, your response.
Absolutely. I would like to know exactly who said that, when they said it, and what it was, because there's three things in my office. One, when you are even applying for a job in my office, you must know about confidentiality. You're provided confidentiality training, you're provided security and integrity training. Y'all have to realize that if I'm having a civil case, I may have a plaintiff, a defendant, several witnesses, I may have several attorneys. What they do when they leave my office and who they text and what they say, I have no control over. Also, we have open records. People come all the time and retrieve information. We have all three credit bureaus that come. We have individuals who come to just find out what their neighbor has done. My staff has not released any information.
Have you, Gail Smith, have you ever signed a search warrant in a case that a suit had been filed against your husband while he was running for sheriff?
No.
Definitively no. Deborah Potts, anything to say to that?
No, sir.
Another search warrant question. If Judge Smith cannot sign warrants, is there an additional cost to the county? Is there a delay in the warrant process?
Is that me?
Yes.
Let me tell y'all something. When Mike Smith decided to run for sheriff, I was the magistrate judge. We have been married today. Next week we will celebrate 25 years of marriage. He has been a law enforcement officer the whole time. When he decided to run for sheriff, we got an opinion. We are not the only couple in the state of Georgia that's a magistrate and a sheriff. The only thing the Attorney General's office said, I can't sign a warrant for that gentleman over there, Mike said. I am not bound by any other thing. I choose to have Judge Derricott assigned because I don't want there to be an appearance.
Is there an additional cost to the other part of that
No,
question?
she works for the office.
Deborah Potts, anything to say to that?
No.
How much of a part of this job does experience play? Start with you, Judge Smith.
You cannot walk in there today. I couldn't walk in Judge Nation's office. I couldn't walk in Kelly Smith's office and do those jobs. You can be very smart. You can have all the degrees in the world. There's specific training that needs to be done to be able to do those positions. There is absolutely great value in experience.
Anything from your perspective about the experience, which in your case you would acknowledge you lacked at this point?
Well, I have experience working with attorneys and all, and experience is good, but having a fresh new blood, fresh idea come in, yes, I would have to go to several hours of schooling. You have to. Anybody that takes a new position, whether it's sheriff or probate judge, they all have to go to schooling, period. So experience is critical, but having fresh new ideas, a fresh person come in, is absolutely beneficial too.
Question directly directed to Gail Smith. At the Democratic Party debate, Deborah Potts implied rumors and gossip were being spread by magistrate court. You responded by saying anyone can file an open records request. Has anyone requested an open records file on Deborah Potts? If so, what did it show?
Yes, they have, and if you want to know, you must come to my office and sign for a records open request. I will not discuss it.
Fair enough. Deborah Potts, anything to say to that?
Yeah, I'd like to know how many people and who are you telling to come file the open records request on me. I have nothing. Like I said, I have proof right here. I have no criminal history.
Ms. Potts,
Anybody
Ms.
wants
Potts,
to see
look
it?
yourself.
You can look. I have never, ever, ever, ever been arrested. Thanks to rumors you're spreading, I had this pulled. I was accused of being in Oglethorpe County Jail, which has never happened. I was accused of having a DUI in Athens. If I had been arrested, I would have a criminal history, and I do not.
Did anybody ever said you were arrested?
Yes.
Not me.
Well, rumors are coming from your camp and other camps, and I pulled that criminal history to prove everybody wrong.
Well, you just come look for open records and look at your record. How about it?
But I've never
All right.
been arrested. I know
I'll
that
step
for a
in
fact.
now, and then we'll go to closing statements, and we'll start with Deborah Potts.
I just want to reiterate, anybody's welcome to look at it. It is a copy. I did take my date of birth and my social security number off. I will hand it around. Y'all are more than welcome to look at it and see down at the bottom, it clearly states, I have no criminal history. And I stick to that. That is a viable record that I have pulled from the Jackson County Sheriff's Office because I've been working there long enough and the ladies know me. I did pay $10 for that. I am not a criminal. If I was a criminal, I would not be able to work with attorneys and do all I do. I have served as attorneys very well. I know my job. And if I was a criminal, there's no way I could work 20 years with an attorney. Absolutely no way, because they pull your criminal history. So I am here to say I have proof I am not a criminal, and if I was to be elected, that office will be open, will be fair, honest, and there will not be any gossip and not sitting there telling your neighbors, hey, come pull an open records request on your neighbor to see what they have there. I will not do that.
Gail Smith.
Okay? First of all, even if you're charged with a criminal offense, you're not always fingerprinted. So that's something for anybody that doesn't know. Ladies and gentlemen, I've served you faithfully. I request your vote, and I want you all to know, I want to encourage everyone to go vote because, you know, we surrender our rights when we don't go vote. Thank you very much.
Thank you.